What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the season finale of the Run Your Race show. We are your hosts, Akeem
and Chanelle.
I know it's been a while since we have done a show. I promise you we did not forget. Just been a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things happening in our personal lives. But we definitely wanted to make sure that we came back and gave one more show before we close out the show and get ready for next season a little bit later. Lots of different things going on. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're good. You know how we do. We don't do too much fluff. We like to get into the show. Big track meet happened over the weekend, talking about the Athlos meet. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just a meet. It had a bunch of different moving parts to it. What was your initial thoughts when you saw this meet right here? What was going through your head?
Yeah, I like how you said it wasn't just a meet. It had a lot of different moving parts. There was a lot going on. You could definitely tell that the goal was to entertain. And I think they did that. I think the fans had a very, very good time from what I've been reading. The DJ, all the superstars that were present, I think it was a really good environment that they created, an entertaining environment. And for those who were watching at home, I thought it was pretty entertaining as well. I felt like maybe there was a little bit too much time in between races. They could probably cut that 20 minutes down a little bit, but I did enjoy how they filled that time with stories about some of the athletes that were racing. I enjoyed getting to know some of the athletes a little better. The athletes that were there, they all said it was like the best meet that they've ever been to. They were treated, really, really well. They were treated with respect. Mm-hmm. And the money that they received, the prize money, showed that more of that respect, right? And so you always say, pay the people. Well, this meet, they paid these women. The winners received crowns and the crowning ceremony. It was just different, And one of the athletes, I think it was Brittany Brown, she said, everybody's talking about how we can make the sport better. And there's all these ideas. Well, shout out to Alexis, the creator of Athlos, for putting his idea into action. Whether you liked it or not, he actually took that next step to change the trajectory of our sport and make it more entertaining. There were a lot of track and field superstars there, and I would have enjoyed hearing from them more, I think. You had Justin Gatlin there, you had Wallace Spearman, you had Dalilah Muhammad. It would have been nice to see those athletes interviewed trackside, but again, this is just nitpicking some of the things that I would like to see differently. Overall, I thought it was a really, really good meet. Yeah,
I think it can be very easy to be critical of something. But I like what Brittany Brown said and what you reiterated. A lot of people talk about how they're going to change the sport and what they would do, but sometimes you just got to just do and worry about the rest later. And I don't know how much of a fan Ohanan is of the sport of track and field. He's the founder of Reddit. I don't use Reddit, never use Reddit. You use Reddit. I tried one time. It was confusing. I said, I'm off. This is not for me. But Reddit, he's got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of him before pushing for the sport of track and field. So this seems like it's very new to him. And you got to tip your hat for what he was able to do. I mean, he paid these athletes more money than 3 or 4 Diamond League wins, right? If you don't get a appearance fee, mm-hmm. And he went above and beyond. He gave him the crowns. The crowns were $25,000. It's cool, but if we're doing it for the athletes, get rid of the crowns. Use that 25 and put that back into because those crowns just gonna be sitting there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it was something different again. I liked every part of it. I thought it was a different experience. I like that they brought Carrie Champion in. Carrie Champion, she's more of a basketball, football, doesn't really know much about track and field, but she didn't try to fake it. Mm-hmm. They brought in other people to talk about the sport of track and field. Now, couple things when we're talking about how do we continue to move the sport forward and to have events like this continue to thrive, because I think this was a very successful event across the board. I mean, when are you going to have performances and have a DJ there? You know, DJ Nice is a very popular guy, especially in the New York area. You can't ask for more, right? But there were some things that when I was watching it, I was like, man, you know, it would have been nice to, you know, have Allison Felix there to be maybe alongside a Carrie Champion where they can go back and forth. Sonia Richards there full time, you know, Talitha Diggs was there, you know, so it would have been nice to see the other broadcasting bring in some of the other track and field women, historians of the sport, but also ones who are in the sport right now. I think that would have been really, really cool. And interviewing the athletes who are involved in the track and field space. I don't know half of those athletes and actors, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but this is a track and field event. Let's hear more from them, you know? And so it was good. I mean, that's just small stuff. Like, you know, at the end of the day, what he was trying to do was bring more eyes to the sport of track and field from all different walks of life, not just track people, but actors and comedians and all of these different things. So I thought it was a great thing for what he was trying to do. And I think he succeeded at it. Now we'll see what happens next. You know, I'm sure he'll pay quicker than some of these track meets. You know?
Yeah. And the good thing is that he put pressure on what has been the number one track league for years, the Diamond League. Now they have announced, oh, we're upping our prize money next year. So would that have happened if Athlos was not around, or if the Grand Slam Track League was not around? No, the Diamond League would have just kept paying the same money. So these other leagues are now putting pressure on the Diamond League to pay these athletes more, which I think is a really good thing. Yeah.
So there's competition now, right? Grand Slam, Athlos, you know, so there's going to be a whole bunch of different things. Athlos predominantly, you know, all women. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see if the men can do something like that moving forward, you know, but all in all, I thought it was a great effort forward in trying to do something different. And you can nitpick all the things that didn't go right or what you didn't like. But I think when something is new like this, let's just be appreciative of what it is. And it was a really good night. Let's keep things moving forward. We would love to hear from you. What was your thoughts? How do you think it went? Let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. What could they do different? Did you like it? Did you hate it? We want to know in the comments. So let's keep things pushing. Little bit of a discussion, right? Obviously, a year in review of the track and field world this year, 2024. So many different things happened, so many different storylines. What were some of the moments that comes to mind as we think about the 2024 track and field season?
Yeah, taking it back to indoor, you know, Femke had a phenomenal indoor season, and I remember us saying, is she gonna be able to hold this? Because she was rolling indoor, but it was exciting to see her crush the 400 meter. I know you've said, like, man, she should probably focus on the 4. We'll see, but I thought she was really, really entertaining during the indoor season. And then Thea Lafon, for her to not only win the World Indoor Championship, but then to come out and win Olympic gold, put her country on the map. I know they are so proud of her. They're celebrating her as she deserves. I'm just, I like to see those quote unquote underdogs or more surprising stories. So her, Quincy Hall to come out and win the 400 meter at the Olympics. That was super exciting. Kashane Thompson versus Noah. I like those type of rivalry type things. So there was a lot of hype behind that. Hype behind Ingebrigtsen Kerr and Hawker and Nagoose. You know, so it was an entertaining season with some of those rivalries, with some of those shocking winners, and yeah, overall, I think a lot of people during the beginning of the season were saying, oh, they're not running fast. Why isn't anybody, times aren't where they should be. But at the end of the day, we saw some great times, some great performances. And even at the Athlos meet, those women ran fast for it to be late September. You know, I thought it was overall a very entertaining track and field season.
It was funny because we were watching the 200 of that meet, right? And, you know, Gabby Thomas, you know, she was the face of this meet. All right, there's a lot of stories going up on her, and I was like, yeah, I don't think she's gonna win. I think Brittany Brown's gonna win because it takes a lot to be touring and do all these different things, and you can't train that much. Brittany Brown been training, like she been training. She was ready, and her wallet got a little bit thicker because of that. But I mean, it was a great year. I think the storylines were probably one of the ones that rose to the top for me because we heard so many different things in different fields at different times throughout the year. There was the big, at one point, the 15 was one of the most exciting. Inga Brixton, Kerr, Hawker, all the conversation between those two. And then somewhere along the season, it switched to Noah Lyles and Kashane Thompson, or Noah Lyles versus the Jamaicans, right? And then you get a little bit where it goes to Faith. Can Faith break the record again? And she goes and she does it again. And then it switches to a little bit of heartache. You go to the women's side of Shericka Jackson not being able to compete, and you wonder what's going on. And then in Paris, you go on social media and you see the video of Sha'Carri Richardson sitting down and Shelly Ann Fraser talking to the bus driver. You see all these different things, and then you go 2 hours later and you see Jillian Alfred from St. Lucia coming and dethroning the world champion in Sha'Carri Richardson. It was just a massive amount of storyline. Quincy Hall seems like it came out of nowhere. He just digs, Karani James, after all that happened in his life in the recent couple of years, comes back to the final. It's all these different things.
And Sile Tobogo and his mom and just overcoming that. You're right. There were a lot of great stories.
A lot of storylines. Yeah. And I think one of the other storylines that I come to think about is the rise of the African countries. There was a lot of African success. South Africa, all these different other places. It was just great to see the rise of the South Africans and the Africans, what they were able to do. So for me, it was just a massive amount of different storylines. And that's just the pros, the collegiate athletes as well, too. Like, we can't forget them,
High school.
Yeah, high school. Yeah. So,
Quincy Wilson.
Yeah. It felt like it was just a great season of stories and perseverance in different people in different countries and different stages of their career. So, it was just a really good season of track and field. Start off a little bit slow, as many might say, but one thing about the sport is they're going to run fast when it's time to run fast. And man, they ran fast. Let us know your thoughts. What were some of your favorite moments? Let us know in the comment section below. Speaking of favorite moments, this is the first ever Run Your Race track and field MVP, the female category, male category. Now, this was something that we collectively had to come together and be in alignment with for both. You want to start us off with the female?
Sure. Drum roll, please. We're going to go with Julian Alfred. It was pretty easy for us to go with her based off what she did on the indoor season, winning 60-meter world championships, then coming outdoor and just being so consistent. She raced a lot. She didn't dodge any competition. And then when it mattered the most at the Olympics, brought home gold in that 100 meters. So, like I said, pretty easy choice for us. Excited to see how she handles now all this fame. She seems very level-headed though, so we'll see, but excited to see how she handles it.
Yeah, a lot of different, women could come into the mix, right? Julian was a top for us, but, you can always throw in Sydney. You can throw in Almond, the discus, though I don't think she's lost all year. You could throw in Gabby Thomas, her 3 Olympic gold medals. You could throw in Nafti Tiam for 3 consecutive gold medal in the HEP. Like, there's so many different women that you can throw in this category right here. But for us, it was Jillian Alfred because of the whole storyline and all that she encompasses. So that was ours in the female version. The male version is Letsile Tobogo. What a season that he has had. We have been hearing about him since he was a junior and what he ran as a junior, but to be able to carry that as a junior and to do that in the pros, not just in the 100 or the 200, but also in the 4, also in the 3. And then he comes back and ran some of the fastest splits that we've seen in the history at the highest stage at the Olympic Games. And then he goes on this like month span of just running fast and winning. You know, you knew the potential was there, but to see how he was able to ride that potential into newer heights, he just had a fantastic year. He shocked a lot of people in the 200. Even though you knew it was capable, you still want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, so and he's still really young.
Yeah, and like the number of rounds he ran in Paris, and you add like the 4x4 as well, like he just ran a lot. And then he continued afterward through the Diamond League season, you know, where a lot of athletes just said, I'm done after Paris.
Yeah.
He kept going. And the last Diamond League he didn't win, but I read where he said like, my legs are shot. Like I am tired. And he should be, you know, he ran the 1, the 2, 400, 4x4s. He's such a talent. And I think it was a pretty easy choice for us.
Yeah. So that's our MVPs. Again, you say easy. I don't think anything is easy. There were a couple others that we could have slid in here as well too, but you know, he rose to the top. And so those are our 2 male and female MVPs. Let us know who your MVP of the season is. Let us know in the comment section below. With the season officially coming to a close, it brings the question, what are you looking forward to next year? I believe next year is a world championship year. What do you think about it? What comes across your mind? Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing if Sydney does decide to run the 400. Her versus Paulino. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, Sydney's gonna that's easy. It's Sydney all day." But you can't sleep on Paulino. She's another one who we could have chosen as MVP, the MVP. I think she was undefeated all year, right? So, like, hoping to see that rivalry. I think Sydney's done all that she needs to do in the 400 hurdles. So, would love to see her dabble in the 4 next year. I'm looking forward to the return of Athing Mo. Tough season for her. So hopefully she is doing better mentally, physically, and has a comeback year next year. And I think next year, if a lot of people didn't retire this year, I think next year they will definitely retire. So after next year, they'll definitely retire. So I think we're just going to see a lot of people going for it, running a lot, trying to end their careers on a high note. So excited to see, just some exciting performances for those older athletes who are going to call it a career after next season.
Yeah, and you know, we could even throw in Tara Davis Woodall for the season she had as well too. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing all the things that you said, but I'm also looking forward to seeing those who may not have had the best season the year before, or they got hurt.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't really get to see Sharika Jackson. We didn't get to see Rojas, the triple jumper who tore her Achilles early in the season. We didn't get to see a lot of different people who I am looking forward to see them back at their strength.
That's good.
And I'm also looking forward to not just on the track, but to see, you know, what Athlos does, right? Moving forward, to see what this Grand Slam thing looks like, to see what happens in the continued Diamond Leagues, you know, just to see the business side of track and field and the growth of it, and to see what that looks like and who's going to just talk about it and who's going to be about it and really move and try to move the sport forward as best as they can. So, and obviously more storylines, right? See what Mackenzie Long looks like after her first year going into the pros. She had an incredible year as well too. And so it's going to be, and also what new athletes are going to come up and rise up. High school, you know, so there's so much more to come, because one thing about the sport of track and field is you're only as good as your last race. And something is definitely for sure is there's going to be somebody nipping at your heels. So looking forward to seeing everything that you mentioned. We would love to know what you are looking forward to next year. Let us know in the comment section below. It's way too early to do any type of predictions, right? But we would love to know from you. So that's it. This was our season finale episode. We will be back sometime next year with a very special guest that'll probably be in here as well too on occasions. But seriously, we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking the time to tune in to the show, for watching, whether you watched, commented, liked, disliked, whatever it was. Your support is greatly appreciated. Your eyes are greatly appreciated. We don't take it for granted. So let us know your thoughts on the show this season. Let us know some areas that we could improve on. Let us know what you would like to see more of or less of. We are welcoming of any feedback, as we want to make this show an interactive show and a growing show, and a show that continues to progress with the times as the times continue to change. So with all that being said, thank you all for taking the time to tune in. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Have a great rest of the fall. Merry Christmas. And I will definitely see you next year.